Okay, everyone, it's time to finish coffee, food, and drink. I know there's a lot to talk about. You will have much more time today. There will be also more food later, so don't you worry, you're not going out hungry here. And there will be much more time to talk about posters and everything in the reception we're doing afterwards. So if you're still talking in the back, please come to your chairs, because we want to continue our talk. So I give you another 2 minutes. 2 minutes, please. Okay, so then let's start our second session of today. And it's actually, I would say, the first time we are doing it like this. There will be 3 parts of this session. So we're going to start with 4 lightning talks from potential users of DestinE. They will have 5 minutes to each give their perspective on how they want to use DestinE or actually using DestinE. And it can be also a bit challenging. Let's see. When we finish with that, I'm going to invite all the heads of DestinE to the stage. We're going to have like a 30-minute discussion with them, seeing their perspective of many things. And then afterwards, we will open the room to all of you. You can ask any questions you always wanted to ask, and they will all answer it as good as possible, right? So let's see, and also online attendance, as we said, please join the conversation, ask your questions, and then let's see. And we want to start, as I said, with the lightning talks, and I wanted to invite Eva Iwitz from the European Environment Agency. We're in discussions with them for quite a long time, and we will see how we can make DestinE work for them. But I would like to invite her to talk about how she sees DestinE.
So good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Eva Iwitz. Indeed, I'm from the EEA, the European Environment Agency. We are the agency of the European Commission, where we make sure that we can bridge science and policy, support the Commission with all the results you guys produce, and transform it or translate it to easy-to-understand messages. So why am I here today? I'm here today because I work in a department in the climate department, where we publish every 4 to 5 years the European climate risk assessment. We have published now one in 2024, and the next one will be in 2028. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because we are facing some big problems, and we in Europe are not sufficiently prepared. We know that Europe is the fastest warming continent. We know that 2024 was the warmest year in Europe. We know that downpours, but also dry spells are getting more and more common. Heat waves are getting worse. Droughts are getting more intense. Wildfires are getting more frequent. Sea level is getting higher, impacting coastal regions. Snow in the mountains is getting more and more rare, impacting the water cycle. We have vector-borne diseases in higher latitudes, which we never had before. And our climate risk assessment showed actually that 34 out of 36 major climate risks could reach critical to catastrophic level, could reach by the end of this century. On the right-hand side, you show a scenario analytics that our team has done using CMAP6 data from the Copernicus Climate Change Service. And according to the highest warming scenario, it could be that Europe could be actually 7 degrees warmer than pre-industrial level. So the problem is really getting serious. Now, this is not only climate, right? I mean, there is serious consequences. Our society is exposed. We are launching our European Climate Impact and Preparedness Portal in 2-3 weeks, where you will see what the issues are, and I would like to show you in 2 slides what we are coming up. It really is just cherry picking, not everything. But in terms of floods, we have measured that 4% of all floodplains in Europe and 40% of all urban areas are impermeable to excess water. So in case of flash floods and excess rain, obviously that is why we have all these floodings happening. 36% of urban wastewater treatment plants and many hospitals and schools and industries are located in floodplains. That's where they get hit first. Heat waves. 46% of urban hospitals and 43% of schools are exposed to urban heat islands effects, and obviously it's always the elderly, the infants, and those in poor health who are mostly vulnerable. Droughts. We have measured that 90% of all irrigated areas in Europe are exposed or are on average exposed to the strongest drought in the last 24-25 years. We know that on average, it's 5 million workers in agriculture and forestry and fishery who live and work in those areas which are mostly exposed to drought. So it's a lot. It's around, I would say, more than 1% of EU's population. Wildfires. Wildfires are getting a big problem. On average, almost 4,000 square kilometers is burning in the EU, and we can show that the trend is increasing. We have more and more frequent and larger wildfires areas. And we have measured that on average, more than 8 million people live around wildfires in 5 kilometers surrounding on wildfires in the EU, and they are directly exposed either to dramatic consequences, fatalities, or to PM 2.5 emissions. And indeed, we are measuring this, gathering information from the scientific community or from data from our colleagues at ECMWF and the JRC, and we know we can measure it, that the last 10-15 years, 320,000 people were internally displaced in Europe due to floods. More than 4,226 people died between 1980 and 2023 because of floods. Our colleagues at the insurance companies report us that on average floods cost 7.8 billion euro costs in economic losses in the EU. And just in 2021, this actually reached 48 billion euros costs. In terms of heat waves, we know that in 2022, 70,000 people died because of heat waves, and it was around 48,000 in 2023. That's many people. Droughts, we can measure that around 2022 and 2023, we had around 10% less cereal production due to drought. And projections say or tell us that by the end of 2100, so end of this century, we can have 5 to 6% annual reduction in crop production due to drought. Wildfires. We have measured that 45,000 people on average were displaced, internally displaced in the EU due to wildfires. In 2021 and 2023, the big wildfire seasons, 5 times as many. We know that more than 700 people died because of wildfires, and wildfires also cost 2.5 billion euros economic loss annually, as reported by the JRC. I have 2 more slides not to shock you, but to tell you what we can do. So that is why, because of these issues, it is why that we were asked by the Commission to publish the European Climate Risk Assessment, but this assessment is extremely complex. It is complex because climate risks are shaped by 3 main factors. So we have the hazards, the heat waves, the droughts, etc. But we have also non-climatic drivers, which is land use and management, and by the way, also people's behavior and also where they want to live. And it is also, the risk is also shaped how prepared we are. Climate risk is also, or the assessment of climatic risk is also extremely complex because climate change actually multiplies already existing risks. So actually, in case when they happen, they trickle down and the impacts are bigger and bigger, such that these risks cascade across systems, which can lead to system-wide challenges affecting whole societies. So this is an extremely complex topic, which we at the agency can't do alone. I think none of us could be. We need to get together, and we need you, this community, and DestinE to help us to do this work. And that is why I'm here today, because we have teamed up with the European, so the ECMWF, you know, I don't need to say the abbreviations. We have teamed up with the colleagues at ECMWF and at ESA and EUMETSAT, so the DestinE community, and we are starting to shape out what it is that this community could help us in assessing the risk of climate change in Europe. And there are 4 main points I would like to mention. We are, at the agency, we are very good to perform qualitative assessments, so we can say there will be more, but how many more? Around this area, there will be more droughts, but what area and what square kilometer will be impacted. So what I'm trying to say is that instead of qualitative assessment, we are looking at this community to help us to quantify exposures and impacts. We need to focus on solutions, and we need to do timely action. So timely action means big data processing, not taking ages, years, or even 5 to 6 years that we have results, but we need it fast. We need big data. We need it we need it to be processed. We need timely action where this community can help us. And very important, very, very important, what we cannot do at the agency, but we are looking at you. You can do it. What if analytics and what if scenarios, so that we at the agency and we can at the commission, when we talk to commission colleagues, we can explore what will happen if we plant more trees, if we build more dikes, if we look at nature-based solutions, and what will happen if we don't do that. So to build what-if scenarios and explore the results of these scenarios, this is where we really are looking at you. To do that, we are initiating the work. In September, we will have our first workshop with this community, or basically with representative of this community. And then I hope that by beginning of next year, we can start the work with you. I think that was my last slide. Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. It was a bit longer than 5 minutes. Yeah, you can go. It's okay. It's okay. We catch up. We have 3 more lightning talks. And thank you for giving the perspective of the European policy level. After 3.5 years, we're now in a place where we can actually talk to each other and see what we can do for you. Now I would like to invite to stage Bram Schnitzler from Hydrological. He will give a more company perspective on how to use DestinE in the future. And I will, yeah.
Yes, welcome and thank you for having me. My name is Bram Schnitzler from Hydrologic and Dutch SME. And together with our partners, Weather Impact and the Dutch Royal Institute of Meteorology, we're starting a project on flood nowcasting using machine learning techniques. And I was asked to give a brief introduction on this project and explain on how we are going to use Destination Earth and what we like on how we like to involve it. But to start with a short introduction, and probably I don't need to explain this in very much detail because we all know the current situation on flooding in Europe, but these are some statistics on floods in Europe in 2024, and we all know the devastating events that happened last year. So what we are going to do is develop a machine learning demonstrator to empower stakeholders to take preventive measures, and this can be all kinds of measures, for example, to alert and evacuate citizens, close structures, or any other measures. And these stakeholders differ from Dutch water authorities, disaster risk management agencies, and municipalities in the Netherlands, but also in other countries across the world. So in this project we focus on pluvial flooding, so flooding caused by extreme rainfall events, and we are integrating these high-resolution, state-of-the-art flood risk capabilities. So to go into more detail, we are going to use the latest AI models to develop a risk-based probabilistic forecast for inundation on a very high resolution. And another part of this project is to blend rainfall nowcasting with the latest extremes DT models. At last, we are going to develop a multi-model ensemble using both extremes DT but also ECMWF's ensemble prediction systems. By combining this, we can make a risk-based precipitation forecast and use the visualization platform of the Royal Dutch Institute of Meteorology, KNMI, integrated within the DestinE infrastructure. So how are we going to use Destination Earth? These are the 3 things of Destination Earth we are going to use within this project. At first, and this is key for our end users, which consist of 4 water boards within the Netherlands, 6 safety regions, and 2 municipalities, is this extremes DT on a very high detail scales, cross-border, and the on-demand more detailed forecasting for analysis. The next step, we're going to use the climate DT storylines for what-if scenarios and use the destination infrastructure to host our visualization service and for the operational machine learning demonstrators and the access to data and storing of data. So I was asked to be a little bit challenging about what we're going to ask on how to improve the uses of DestinE. We just started our project like the 1st of June this month. So we're really in the startup phase, but the first thing we can mention is the ensemble data. Our end users really need the ensemble data to make risk-informed decision-making and user acceptance. This is key for them to have these data for acceptance of a precipitation forecast. And of course, we're going to gather a lot of more feedback during the rest of this project. For implementers, in this stage of the project, we have two key things we like to mention, which is technical support. In the earlier presentation this morning, there was a very detailed information on how we can interact and how we can use technical support. So that was already very helpful. Thanks for I'm not sure where the presenter is, but thank you for that. And the last thing we like to ask is for implementers, it would be very helpful to have publicly available example data sets to interact with the data, to see what the data consists of, how to use it, and to prepare for the implementation. And with it, I'd like to conclude. And thank you for having us here. And have a nice rest of this event.
Thank you, Brian. And thank you for being in time. That's perfect. So we catched up a little. I would leave it like this for now, right? Because we're coming back to the lightning talks a bit later. So I would like to now invite Sascha Philipp Sam to the stage. He's giving actually a company perspective also, but more on the energy side. And we'll give his perspective.
Thank you. I vividly remember the second user exchange in Bonn in November 23, where a remarkable video showcased the resolution of the digital twins. By the way, we saw it this morning again. And that presentation left a lasting impression. So it's an honor to be here in Vienna today and to have the opportunity to contribute now to the discussion at the 4th Destination Earth User Exchange. I'm a team lead at TenneT, a leading European grid operator responsible for designing, building, operating, and maintaining the extra high voltage electrical transmission grid across the Netherlands and large parts of Germany. We are committed to providing a secure, reliable supply of electricity 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, while helping to drive the energy transition in our pursuit of a brighter energy future. I can imagine that the digital twins provide crucial input for at least 2 essential tasks. First, the 24/7 secure operation of our grid is built upon the physical integrity of our assets, such as substations and power lines. In the past, unpredictable extreme weather events have severely threatened or even infringed upon this integrity. For example, unpredicted, very extreme local winds might tip over extra high voltage pylons. Still, we must prevent that such a rare contingency causes large-scale grid failures. Being able to predict and detect those local extreme weather situations up front across a broader spectrum with the extreme digital twin could add crucial preparation time for those events and would result in a more resilient energy system. Furthermore, AI-supported methods have the potential to revolutionize our today's approaches that are based on predefined warning criteria. Second, we conduct as well extensive studies to design the future electricity grid for a carbon-neutral energy system. With the energy transition, weather plays an increasingly significant role in energy production, making climate and weather data essential for our studies. For instance, analyzing combinations of different future scenarios and weather situations, we aim for a target grid which is adequately dimensioned to meet future demands. Moreover, it must be ensured that electricity generation aligns with consumption, even during periods when there is no wind and no solar, a so-called Dunkelflaute. The climate digital twin can assist by pre-selecting climate models, pathways, or critical weather scenarios for stress tests in our power market and grid models. Here again, machine learning can support us. Next to the resilient operation of the energy system and stress tests for future plannings, one final thought. Ellen J. Perlis said, "Simplicity does not precede complexity, but follows it." So success in advancing this vision relies on simplifying the complex output of the digital twins into standardized, compact, manageable data that fit into the already very complex energy models. So please keep in mind, always be engineer-friendly. Together, let's turn this vision into reality. A more resilient and adaptive energy system is not just a goal. It's a necessity to meet the challenges of today and the demand of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you very much. And I really like the picture you brought. I mean, it was drawn by a colleague of yours, right? So it's actually not just AI-based, but really like human-based picture. And And now we would like to invite to the stage the last lightning talk speaker. Actually, we going to get a perspective from a public authority, and not just using the digital twin data, but also making use of the digital twin DestinE platform. And Andreas will talk about this. He's from the Federal Agency for Cartography in Germany, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yeah, welcome to a national perspective for the digital twin Germany. And what is our perspective with DestinE? So who we are? So we are the Federal Agency of Cartography und Geodäsie, Bundesamt für Kartografie und Geodäsie, BKG, and we give orientation. That is our slogan. So we are the central service provider for geoinformation for federal administrations in Germany. So we don't have the use cases at our institute, but the use cases are at the other federal administrations, and we support them. And from the history, we support them with spatial data that we collect or put together in Germany. But of course, you know, just providing spatial data is not enough. There are many other use cases that the decision makers in other federal agencies need concerning to climate change, security, and other things. So we're looking forward to be more friendly to the use cases and have in mind to provide a digital twin and an analysis and simulation platform. And the baseline of this platform should be a model of Germany and access to many data sets and to support the use cases with simulations and analysis capabilities. For this, we also collect a new data set. So additional to the already existing data from satellite information and others, so we do a data collection. So we scan Germany with a 3D LiDAR scan, an airborne laser scan, and the result will be a 40 points per square meter resolution point cloud that is altogether more than a petabyte, and we are already on the way collecting this. So collection phase is last year and will end this year. So next year we have the data set completed. And then, of course, in 3 or 4 years, we will start with the next snapshot. So here you can see an image from this point cloud. So we do collect this in vegetation periods. So we have also information about the trees and etc. What we do with the LiDAR data. So this is a picture of the LiDAR data itself. For many use cases, it's interesting. Where are the trees? Where are the buildings? What is the shape of the buildings, etc. So we provide mechanisms for object detection, and will support the use cases by finding out information from this point cloud. So, for example, position of trees, the radius of the tree crown, shape of buildings, and then we support the use cases, and we try to detect the objects that are common for many use cases. And and within these use cases, we will provide analysis capabilities, also simulation. For example, noise simulation, this can be used for several use cases. And because we have this LiDAR point cloud, we have many use cases that make use of the 3D part of the data. So what are our challenges? So we have a big data set, so we need about 1 petabyte data, so we need big data management capabilities. We need to store the data, we need processing capabilities, we want to share the data between users and use cases. For many things, we need AI power. So we use a lot of machine learning with object detection, for example. Use GPU, AI tooling capabilities. We want to present the data. Point clouds need special things to visualize them, 3D. And we want to collaborate. And we want that our users can also collaborate. So because we want to, we see the digital twin platform that we do that will host several digital twins of different fields of application that build together kind of ecosystem. So we want to share the data, share the methods, share the results, and we want to be part of an ecosystem also with other twins. For example, the twins of destination Earth, where we can use the result to model scenarios, especially in Germany. How do we look forward to tackle these challenges? Because our agency, we are about 400 people working there, so we have a small data center, but we have not a data center that can manage these petabyte capabilities. So we will not build the platform on scratch, for sure. So we are looking forward for something better. So we want to stand on the shoulder of giants. So because I think DestinE is some kind of giant. I see here a lot of services already there. I see a lot of use cases that look quite similar to our use cases, and this is very important for us. So we are looking forward, and we are at the moment at a kind of exploring phase to see how this works. So we have now a test phase where we see if we can reuse DestinE and integrate with DestinE, become part of this ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Andreas. As I said, no comments right now and no questions on this. We will come back to you later. But now we want to start the fun part. Of course, it was already fun for the presenters, but now we want to discuss. And I would like to invite to the stage, actually, Katrin and Irina. You know them already. They were presenting in the session beforehand. Katrin from ESA, please come here. Also, Irina. And then we actually do have men working in DestinE. So it's not just women. We do have men working in DestinE, so it's very good that you're here, and I would also like to invite Michael Schick to the stage. He's actually deputying for Lothar Wolf today because he cannot be here, but he can talk about all of the perspective EUMETSAT has. And then last but not least, I would like to invite Babis Tsitlilakidis, and I'm sorry for this name, and I'm so glad that you not made me to say your full name. Welcome from the European Commission, head of DestinE at the European Commission, and also here to speak with us. So a big applause to our panelists. And to make it easier for you, because the difficult questions might follow later on, and also to zoom out a little bit. We heard a perspective how the users imagine to use DestinE, but we have to zoom out a little because we never talked about it, and there's a lot of people talking outside, and we would like to hear from you. And I would like to start with Babis because you're paying for it. You have to answer the first question, and the first question, which is to all of you, is who are the users of DestinE?
I should push this one. Does it work? Okay. Can you hear me? So many thanks, Franca. Well, the truth is that usually the one that pays is the one that is spoiled, but you took it the other way around. But okay, I will take the first one. So who are the users of Destination Earth? So when we started Destination Earth some years ago, we started with a vision to create a unique system that will provide new capabilities in this area, but most of all, that is going to be there to address the needs of both experts and non-experts. So a wide range of user communities to be involved. So from the public sector at all levels, EU, national, regional, local, to the private sector, but of course also to academia, research, and finally the average citizen. So to the palette of the user communities that we are addressing is, I think, quite inclusive. Now, as we develop further Destination Earth, and we are now in the middle of phase 2, we are also gradually opening up the access to more user communities. As you also listened from Lina in the morning, that now we are going to introduce also a revision of the user access of Destination Earth so that we can include more and more user communities. What is important, I think, is to mention that we are not building Destination Earth in a vacuum. The fact that we started with a vision and the fact that we have our own mindset around Destination Earth doesn't mean that we will remain focused on that. We are here to listen to you. This is part of the overall process on how we engage with users. We have also a number of other opportunities where we gather feedback from the users in order to adapt how we develop Destination Earth, because we are developing Destination Earth for you, the users. So part of the whole process is what the new needs that we see are, can really be addressed by Destination Earth, but also developments that are taking place in parallel. For example, as you also know, we are now introducing the concept of the AI factories, which lead us to a new perspective of things, that we will have new dedicated users working on specific areas on AI, and where Destination Earth will play a key role. It's just an example. Or if I take the morning keynote of Anna, addressing the local needs. As a person that has spent a lot of years in my career on the digital transformation of the local government, I know very well what are the challenges there, as presented by Anna. And there we are, of course, teaming up with our teams working in this area. Like, for example, the signatories of the EU Mission for Climate Change Adaptation. So also what we are calling the local digital twins that we are also developing in parallel with Destination Earth. All of these strands will come together eventually. So as in conclusion, yes, we have, as I said, a wide audience, but of course we adapt based on the needs, on the voice of the users, and on how things are developing in a number of areas that have a significant impact, let's say, on Destination Earth.
Thank you very much.
Are you covered?
I'm covered.
Okay.
It's basically everyone, right? No, sorry. Okay, thank you, Babis. I would like to give the floor to Michael.
Okay. In our case, EUMETSAT is responsible for the data lake. So, I mean, it's implicit that users use the data lake, or explicit. So you have two options. I mean, as you learned today from the presentations, the users will start their journey at the core platform. They register there. They get then accepted, maybe get the upgraded accounts. And then if users use services, they may sort of underneath interact as well with the data lake through the services. So they will then access data sets, maybe through services on the core platform. They go to the data lake, or maybe on the data lake there's also the data warehouse with the elements from ECMWF provided, including Polytop, to access the digital twins. So the users will sort of go through, and we will facilitate that access. But then on top of that, we have as well some explicit users, and you heard from Danielle what she described before, that we have so-called edge services. And these edge services, we see institutions being able to request the edge services, which get then a project for 6 months, infrastructure close to the data where undertakings or what-if questions could be handled. But then, of course, not only institutions, so any other EC-supported initiative or project could actually get granted. So we have a process for that, and so these are our users.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Then, Katrin, please put your perspective on the users.
Thank you. So the platform has a very open concept that allows any kind of user to onboard their activities. Our plan for the next years is that every user can have their own digital twin. So I'm looking here already at some questions that we have received. Maybe I should not. But so, for example, there was a question if the DestinE platform will be available also in Spanish. It actually already is. So if you go on the DestinE platform, you have the possibility to look in different languages at the platform. And for me, the objective is a little bit like Anna also introduced this morning, that also my parents can see what we are offering and that they also have an advantage of what we are doing. And yes, I think this is a bit what we are looking forward to.
Okay, thank you very much. Irina, your perspective?
A lot was said, but I want to add our perspective at ECMWF on more on the digital twins and how to access their data. And the focus there, of course, as I was saying, these digital twins are complementing existing capabilities. And therefore, we are working with the institutions in the weather and climate communities, which would be the first ones who know this data and can benefit from this data and can act as a broker or multiplier for the data, because these are new capabilities, but of course you need to be familiar with weather and climate science to exploit this data, and then it can transform it into information that the non-expert users can use as well. But that translation doesn't necessarily need to happen in Destination S, can happen outside as the mandated institutions, and the institutions would have the knowledge of weather and climate data multiply the usability of this data. And in Destination S, that's why we are working from the very beginning with a lot of Met services, with climate centers, with climate services, and we are, but as well as with private companies in the framework of this, what we call use cases in phase 1, and now they are called pilot services, to see how we can best demonstrate the added value of this data and exploit it for the benefit of the society. And there is also the research community, in particular for climate, which is really important. And that's why it's good to hear that the data will be more open, because in order to build trust in the new data set, to validate it, to demonstrate scientifically where it adds value and that it can be used for decisions, like Anna was saying, at local level. We need the science community to get their buy-in, to get many of you to look at the data and demonstrate how what it brings, but also how it can be combined with existing data sets, because Destination S doesn't exist in isolation. It builds on existing capabilities, and we have to use it in combination with existing data sets for both weather and climate.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your perspective. I mean, it shows that we have 3 big organizations working together, funded by the European Commission. All are bringing in their different perspective on DestinE and also on the users, which is unique, right? We are building the digital twin, and no one can do it alone. We have to have the different perspective to it. I mean, if you talk to people outside, they say it's nice what you're doing. It's really great that you do the digital twin of the Earth, but you're just putting it out there and then we have to use it. You're not talking to each other. And what's your perspective on this? How can we support better the users using DestinE? What can we do more to talk to them? And I would like to give this question to Katrin first and see the perspective.
So actually, we really try to offer different possibilities for the users to give us feedback. I explained this a little bit this morning. So there's, of course, the help desk where people can contact the support and get already some feedback. There's the public roadmap where we inform about everything that we plan of evolutions, and we invite the community to submit their ideas of what should be offered on top of what is already there. And we are organizing, of course, these user exchanges where we hope now to get a lot of feedback from you, so don't be shy. And I I think there are a lot of possibilities to get in touch with us and to see what DestinE can bring to every one of you.
Perfect. Babis, what's your perspective on this?
So again, with Destination Earth, there are possible multiple avenues on how you exploit the resources brought to you by Destination Earth. Irina already mentioned one, so going directly to the Met offices, but of course you can also use the tools, applications and services that we have on the platform or on the, what I guess Michael will talk about, on the edge services on the lake. So there are multiple ways of using the same resources. And of course, based on your feedback, we are advancing, as I said before. So for me, to make it easier for users to get access, I would say, first of all, we need to understand the needs. And again, this event is part of this stakeholder users gathering. So where we talk with you, and then we plan ahead based on the feedback that we get from you. But there are also a number of other opportunities. Catherine mentioned one also, how you onboard, create your own service and onboard it on the platform. That's another way to interact directly with us. So we are always open to listen to what you have to propose. Our antennas are wide open to receive your feedback, to collect your needs, as I said. And then besides the annual event that we have like this one, we can also organize a number of events to gather around stakeholders. Part of it is what we call the National Days of Destination Earth, where a member state or an associated country decides that they can have an event dedicated to Destination Earth. And we had already a number of these events, and we are planning to do a kind of roadshow, for example, to go to, if possible, to all member states and have this kind of dedicated events for Destination Earth, where we raise awareness of the communities around what we do with Destination Earth and how you could be involved. So these are also ideas that we have, and we are putting them in motion so that we can cater for this part. But more will come. No?
So what I heard, you will be busy traveling around Europe advocating for DestinE, right?
And even beyond.
Even beyond. And what I also heard, we can give out your email address to send feedback to how improve DestinE to get.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it should be clear that we are open to feedback. Also, you are open to feedback. Also, the Commission is open to feedback. Irina, for you, it's a bit different, I would say, because you're in the weather climate community already, and we are building the digital twins of climate and weather, so it's kind of easy to better support these users, right?
Yes, in a way it's easy because we are already building these capabilities together. It's not, there are 100 partners working on it, but I do think there is a need to enhance the support in the sense of work with as many institutions as possible. That will depend, of course, it's always a matter of funding. But to create examples of how digital twins can be used in different sectors, but also communicate that, give examples of how they can be used for wind energy, how can they be, where they can bring added value for disaster risk, for urban planning, and then by working with as many of you as possible directly, that you would act as these multipliers and brokers of the DestinE data, because that will really expand the ecosystem of users. And it's also because Destination Earth is not in isolation, and there are many other, and we heard examples of national digital twins, etc. So if more people uptake, if we can support and increase uptake of DestinE, then through the different other projects, Horizon projects, national projects, the use and exploitation can increase.
Thank you, Irina. Michael, I mean, you're EUMETSAT. Yes. You're also working with weather people. Do you have the same perspective as Irina?
Yes, similar. We, of course, exchange and get inputs from our member state, the national Met services, it's clear. But then I think some other aspects were already mentioned before. We have the Destination Earth Coordination Group, where also member state representatives in. So we receive inputs there in this forum, which we also take into account and shape. We listen to that. Then there is this scientific advisory board as well that is going and running, where we receive also inputs. And then I think here in the forum we have, in the Living Planet, we have more or less the Earth observation domain. But I think, as we heard before, so we open up to other data spaces, and it's very difficult to obtain the input from the others that we don't know today, which will come tomorrow and may come to the system. So we need to see if we can get access to other communities and understand as well their needs, and to be able to work with the services and the data that we provide.
Perfect, thank you. I prepared everything, right? And I also prepared the checkpoint. No one mentioned it.
I was about to mention.
Okay, because Babis, please go ahead. Because in our agreements, we do have a saying we have to do this checkpoint, making sure that DestinE also fits the users. And it's actually still online. You can take the survey. It's a lot of questions, but we would like to hear from you. And there's also the place where you can get feedback to us on everything you ever wanted. Do you want to say something about this, Babis, or is it?
I was about to mention exactly that you already have this opportunity to interact with Destination Earth and provide us with structured feedback. So this is the user checkpoint. We plan this to happen every year. So it's a milestone that we have in our planning, where we ask you, the users of Destination Earth, to play with the system, test it, use it, and tell us what we need to improve, what is working already very well, and what perhaps is missing. So this is still running, no?
It's still running, yeah, for another week or so. So please go ahead and have some feedback. Okay, so one last question I have to you, and not all of you need to answer this, but one last question. We started DestinE 3.5 years ago. We have everything in place. We have the platform, we have the results, we have the data lake, and so on. But some might say that it's a bit of a long stretch to go to operational and policy decisions. How can we go, how can we get there, that we really support operational and policy decisions? How can we do this? Who wants to start?
I can start. I think we have to work with those people together. So we have to encourage them, use Destination Earth as another source of input that they can take into their system into account, not replacing what they have, but take it into account. Really use the data that we have there, the data and the service. If they're not used, they're not useful. Yeah. So, and then we have listened to them, what they experience, what they find out, where we have shortcomings, and where we can do better, and where we have to make improvements.
Good. Another comment?
Yes, so I have two elements for this. First of all, we have the co-design methodology that we offer to make sure that services are developed that are really meeting the user requirements. So there will be a talk tomorrow introducing more details on this, and I really think that this is a great opportunity to build useful services. And the second one is that we are preparing operational quality framework for DestinE that should, for example, build the trust in all what DestinE is offering to users. And I think this will also support the uptake by policymakers.
Thank you. Any more comments on this?
Continue.
Yeah, okay, both of you. Then
Well, Irina
ladies
first.
first.
Irina, ladies
Go ahead,
first.
go ahead, Babis. Go ahead.
Babis,
No, Babis,
come
go
on.
ahead.
If you pay, you see. Huh?
Yeah, you pay, you have to go for it.
No, but coming back to the trust element that Catherine just mentioned. So it's a kind of a chicken and an egg situation where, of course, you need to build trust so that the system is going to be used. But in order to build trust, you need the underlying capabilities to be operational and trustworthy. So this is what we are trying to do. The system, as Franca said also, it was quite a sprint to bring the system into motion in not less than 3 years, I would say. So now we are developing further. Major parts of the infrastructure are already operational, the lake, the platform. We need to work still a bit with the HPC resource provision, but this is also part of the planning. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, which is the quality of the underlying data assets. So if you are a decision/policy maker and you like to use Destination Earth, to trust it, and use it as an instrument that can help you on how you decide your next moves in policy making and the like, you need, first of all, to understand the trustworthiness and the fidelity of the predictions and the simulations that we bring forward. And this is a key element. This is why we have a lot of work already scheduled to cover the part on uncertainty both quantification and communication. And it's part of what we are going to do, as I said, both in phase 2, the remaining of phase 2, and in phase 3, so that we can really tackle this challenge on how we can first turn our data assets into trustworthy resources to be used for that purpose, and then be able to communicate that efficiently, mainly to non-experts, which are the ultimate decision makers in the end. So this is the plan. But
so there will be a phase 3.
Phase 3,
yes.
Phase 3 will start June next year and will continue for 2 years until June 28th. The plan is there, the budget is there.
Perfect.
So
very good to hear.
Yeah.
So now, Irina, last word.
Yeah, well, as Bobby was saying, we need to build the trust in the data, and for that there are a few things which are essential. First of all, for climate projections, this is the first initiative which is even attempting to operationalize climate projections. So we also need to understand what that means together with the community, and there are different discussions in different forums, because it's not as simple to say we have operational predictions since decades, now we want to do operational projections. What does that mean? So this is something we are actually working with the community. That's one thing. And then set the procedures in place which assure that you do operations, not just research. Then the second thing is that we need the community to explore this data, compare it with existing data assets. It can't be done all in Destination Earth. So I hope many of you will go home, look at the climate DT data, both the existing simulations, but also the new ones. And we need to invest in methods how to combine these simulations with existing simulations, because they don't exist in isolation, and you have to have a wealth of data also for uncertainty quantification. I think this is something very important, actually. How do we combine CMIP data, Cordex data with DestinE data? This needs research, this needs science, it's not all ready. And then we need to continue to work closely with the different sectors and the different mandated institutions who do climate services in who do climate services in Europe at national and European level, and also with the Copernicus Climate Change Service in particular, and these are complementary activities, and to see how we can support decision makers to take decisions based on all the wealth of data which exists in Europe.
Thank you very much. Thank you all of you for the first 3 questions. We have about a half an hour left, and as I told you, we are now in the phase of asking any question, not just related to the users, but any questions you want them to answer. We have a couple of here online already. We can start with that, but I'm asking all of you, please feel free to raise your hand, think about it, and ask questions. Don't be shy. And I come around with a microphone. But if you still need time, no worries, because there's one question I'd like to ask, because we're talking about weather and climate and so on, but someone online asked, have you considered opening DestinE to cover earthquakes and volcanoes as well? Irina.
I'll take that, because we do have, and I saw Arnaud somewhere in the room, we do have a study with the Barcelona Supercomputing Center at the moment to assess the readiness of the elements of digital twins on these topics, which were developed through Horizon projects, and what's the readiness level they have achieved, and whether they are ready to be coupled in the DestinE ecosystem, and how this coupling could be happening, etc. So this is already work ongoing in the framework of, and there has been a variety of interoperability discussions with different digital twins and the digital twins, as we call them, and in particular there was the GeoDT project. This is something we are working with them at ECMWF.
If I may complement, ESA also has a program that is contributing to DestinE, which is the ESA DTA program, where we develop other digital twin components using the Earth observation data. And there's a website also informing about all the detailed thematics that are covered by this program. And we are discussing on Friday morning, for example, what should be done in this program in the future. So you're also welcome to discuss with us there.
Very good. And I know, Babis, you also fund other things, not you personally, but the European Commission funds other Horizon projects on digital twins. For example, BioDT was funded, and there's much more going on. They are also going to be in DestinE in the future, right?
So yes, of course, this goes hand in hand with the process that we are going also to establish, and it has to do with onboarding of the results from relevant Horizon Europe projects on Destination Earth, because the maturity level is not always the same. So deliverables from this project, if they come at level of TRL 5, 6, whatever, they need to advance in order to onboard on Destination Earth, but this is part of the process that we are putting also forward together with colleagues from DGRTD. And more projects like these will come because we have also the new generation of the projects that are under Horizon Europe. So there is, of course, this synergy between what we are doing at the deployment and delivery, let's say, part of Destination Earth, with the needs that we have to address via the Horizon Europe projects when it comes to the developments for further research for Destination Earth. So this is already in the making.
Okay. So now there is a hand up. Very good. It would be yeah. If you go to the microphone, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm coming down.
I'll kick things off in the room just to get you warmed up. So I work in the field of decision-making under deep uncertainty, particularly related to sea level rise, but also other related problems. And the critical thing with any kind of projection, and you know this as well as me, is your confidence in that projection. And I wonder if you could say a little bit about how you're going to communicate and determine the uncertainty or the confidence you have in that projection, because an estimate, a prediction of, I don't know, whatever it is, you know, a storm or something, without some uncertainty is uninterpretable. It's meaningless. And so it's really, really important that you do that in a sensible way. And could you just say a little bit more about your approach for that?
I will start, but and then I would invite you to come to in particular, the climate twin session this afternoon, I think, because indeed this is very important. And what we do in particular because you're talking about the projections, is we built a framework which is called which is about the quality control and uncertainty quantification, which is doing real-time evaluation as the simulation runs for the historical period. It's comparing it with a lot of observations, both in observation space and reanalysis and existing projections. And then the idea is to, in the measure that the European Commission provides the computing time, we obviously like to do ensembles of these simulations, even at coarser resolution, then provide an uncertainty. We are also building a climate emulator where we are just starting. There is a poster there, and I think the hope, given how expensive the simulations are, that we are hoping to develop an emulator which can support uncertainty quantification, if it's not for the entire period of the projection, but at least for selected time slices. And we are also doing ensembles for certain time slices. For example, I showed this morning this video of the storyline simulation. That's an ensemble of simulations already. So of course the ensembles come in. We can't have grand ensembles with physical models of 1,000 members because there is not enough compute time. But we are working on different strands to build that uncertainty.
Okay.
And again, using the CMIP existing simulations to see where the DestinE simulations fit in that ensemble of existing simulations is very important, and that's why I insist again, and we have actually we had a tender exactly on that topic, or how can we use machine learning to blend existing, or to use existing simulations to build an uncertainty around the DestinE simulations.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you for being the first one in the room. Is there another question in the room? Yeah, right here. Would you mind going back to the microphone? Perfect.
Yeah, thank you for the nice panel. My name is Mario Real and I work at Géant. I was wondering, so if it's not too early to have your feedback or your initial ideas about what will happen in terms of integration of the platform and all the services that you provide into the EOSC infrastructure. And in particular, I know that there are implications if you want to be one of the official nodes of the Open Science Cloud in Europe, and there are technical and policy features involved. So if it's not too early, do you have a roadmap for this in terms of, authentication, authorization, infrastructure, and so on? Thank you.
Yeah, at least Babis has an opinion on this.
Yeah. First of all, many thanks. This is quite an interesting discussion, which opens now even broader the context of what I would call the ecosystem surrounding Destination Earth. So if I start with EOSC, the good thing is that we manage both Destination Earth and EOSC under the same roof in our unit. So the plan is not to have a tight integration, because we are not working on integrating initiatives with each other. We are building federations. This is the overall planning, which lead us to the part of the big federation of the common European data spaces. So EOSC has the de facto research data space. Is part of what we are starting now under the auspices of the Simple initiative, so the smart middleware, if you are aware of that. So the smart middleware is a middleware that is supposed to interconnect the common European data spaces with initiatives like Destination Earth and the like, but also to provide the federating capabilities inside the data spaces that they don't have a pre-existing solution. So we are in the first wave of delivery by Simple, and September, perhaps October, we will have a test case between Destination Earth and EOSC. So it will start taking, first of all, the connection between the two, the interactions, the interoperability between the two, and how we can work together building on that test case. That will come as the outcome of a study that we already had exactly on that. So this is ongoing, but as I said, we are talking about interoperability and a federated approach, which will also apply not only across the board of the data spaces, but also in the interconnection of Destination Earth with the AI factories, with the whole, let's say, as I said, ecosystem surrounding Destination Earth.
Okay, thank you. There was actually a question, I don't know where it was, but it's more related to the data. I think it might be down there. There was some question on who decides who, I don't know if we can put it on there again. Deciding on which data goes into the data lake, I think.
I think it's the first two questions that you can see there.
Okay. Yeah, this one, yeah. Do you plan to integrate into the platform citizen science, and how is the process?
I mean, I can say something on behalf of the DestinE data portfolio. The data portfolio, Danielle mentioned it in her presentation, is sort of evolving, is user-driven. So we take the inputs and we discuss in a joint configuration board together what makes sense to be added. Of course, individual data sets, if it's only for one user or so, makes no sense to integrate. If we see a sense that it's being shared to the wider audience, then it can be integrated in the DestinE data portfolio, can be provided. But nevertheless, from all the elements in the Destination Earth system, you can access the internet and you can access and use any other data sets from outside. So if we put in the data portfolio, it has some advantages. It can be better integrated into existing services, etc. But if it's not, you can still use it via the internet.
Okay, thank you. There were actually two questions, right?
Maybe I just add from a platform point of view, there are also possibilities to integrate your own activities and your own data. There's, for example, the Delta Twin that gives this possibility, and there will be more explanation coming on the second day of the user exchange.
Thank you. There was actually, the other question was just gone away, saying how do we plan to integrate citizen science onto the platform? Will there be possibility to work together? And editing is, yeah. Okay.
That was the question I was answering now.
Ah, okay, perfect. Sorry. Then we have that covered. There's another question to you, Catherine, asking, and this is a really interesting question, the possibility to include pay-per-use service.
Yeah, so what I explained this morning is when you decide that you want to integrate a service on the platform, you have different possibilities. So you need to host your service on some infrastructure, and either you have your own infrastructure where you host it, or otherwise, if you don't have it, there is a possibility to access infrastructure provided by the platform with pay-per-use, and there's either the OVH infrastructure directly or the runtime platform, and there are actually a lot of explanations given at the booth, for example, on the onboarding options. So if you need more information, please pass by the booth.
Okay, thank you. There are more questions coming. There's actually a nice question to close all of this, so we wait for the vision for the end of phase 3 to ask at the very end of this session. Now, the other question, which was, let me check. There was this question on how to integrate from the Global South, I think. I don't know if we can highlight it again. Yes, as the Climate DD provides global information, do you plan to incorporate this to provide tailored insights to air quality issues in the Global South? Maybe Irina is the best one to answer this.
Well, I mean, the Climate DT provides global information, is what we call local granularity. It's basically quite detailed with a 5 to 10 kilometer resolution. Now, of course, different applications can be built on top, either with machine learning or with coupling with different regional models. And if there are people interested, and if they are among the users with upgraded access, they can use that data to couple with different models and provide tailored insights in various places. And of course, it can be in theory used in the Global South as well, but that's more for Babis to answer.
Babis, do you want to add something on this?
I think I'm covered by what Irina just said, so...
So yes.
Forget.
Okay, then another question is, what specifically is planned with regard to adaptation digital twins and food production? That's an interesting question.
Well, it's the same. There are different. There are different applications which are being built, and there are posters actually on the various use cases and pilot services which are built on top of the digital twins. So I would say for those who are in the room, go have a look. But we are trying to cover different sectors to demonstrate the use for different sectors, and there was in particular work with EEA towards a adaptation modeling framework, and you can talk to Jörn or to Eva who are in the room if you want to know more.
And okay. On top, on the platform side, I mentioned already that we have the advanced application services that have been selected, the first batch, and among this there's also, for example, one service on agriculture, which is supporting the production of potatoes, which I find a very nice topic. So forecasting the harvest of potatoes and using also climate digital twin data. So this is coming in the next month.
Thank you very much. So you all have the QR code now, right? So that's why we get so many questions. But there's a hand up, so please engage.
Thank you. It's a general question, but maybe more for Isa on the service portal, which looks great, but I think that in the future you might need more interactivity with the users, because as I see now it's quite top-down. So my question, are you planning to implement some kind of on-purpose LLM for the portal? And if yes, which are the implications for the people that is generating data the portal now.
Thank you for the question and for the feedback. Yes, so for now we had 23 services, so we saw that the interactivity of the service registry was enough for that, but now that we will have almost 100 services by the end of the year, we are planning to improve interactivity to a little bit, I mean, you have seen the similarity with Netflix, where you get the services that you actually need to perform your activities, so based a bit on the user profile or on what is going on in the moment. And we have done some tests with LLM already to support users. We were not completely convinced about the results, but we are on it, and we hope that we can offer something very soon also with the LLM.
Okay, yeah, there's another one.
Thank you. It relates actually to what was said before this question concerning projects that are funded outside of the destination Earth. For example, we have one funded by the Austrian funding agency. We use climate DT and extremes DT data. And is there a standardized procedure foreseen on how these projects should engage with ECMWF? So we do it and with other partners, but is there a standardized procedure foreseen or how the output should be integrated, will be integrated within Destination Earth if it's not a product? Because I think not all projects will deliver a product or a service that could be integrated.
Very interesting question, thank you. Who wants?
So for services, I may reply. So there's actually a standardized onboarding procedure that is available on the platform. So you can have a look, what are the requirements to onboard a service, what kind of quality checks are performed, and what is the procedure. And then for
the relevance and the way, there are different ways to couple with the digital twins, and I think the best ways, I mean, just basically we are happy to talk to you, to the different projects in the measure possible. Of course, we can't be in every project, but we aim to support as many people explaining what the different ways of uptaking the data, but also somewhere, and I'm already saying something about the question Franca is saving for the end about the vision at phase 3, but I would really like that by the end of phase 3 we have at least some people who would like to do some sort of what-if scenarios, because at Destination S is not a weather and climate, and I saw another question there, so we talk about climate data and weather data, but it's really a capability to do tailored, bespoke simulations, and for me, success would be to work with some key users to define what would you want to run that you would want to run today and you can't run at the moment. And then whether we can run that or not for technical or supercomputer availability reasons is another question. But I think we have to work together to define what we want to use these new digital twins for, because they are a source of data, but they are more than a source of data.
That sounds very interesting, and I actually have a poster on the project, so maybe we can discuss it then. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for taking the other question already. Irina, thank you very much. I mean, the first question is still up, but I want to get back to Michael. Do you want to say more about the data? Because there's also the question on how you will address uneven collection, which I don't know you can answer, but...
Yes, I mean, normally it has to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, how a data set can be included in the, for example, in the harmonized data access in the collections, and there are possible ways to write adapters or to expose it. So we've done it, for example, for Eurostat data, for statistical data, and it's possible, but integration is possible at different levels. So you could describe the data set, the collection, and then point where the data lies, or you can go into fine-grained access, etc. But it has to be discussed what we include and what we provide for the community.
Okay. Thank you. Babis, there's still one question left on new policy and international level, or to help local administrations to be policy compliant. Mm-hmm. Do you have an opinion on that? I'm a bit related to the last question we had to you, but...
Yeah, but I can also go back to the previous question on the socioeconomic data to add that the inclusion of socioeconomic data deriving from the work that we have now already going on with impact sectors is one of the key differentiating factors of Destination Earth, is how you distinguish Destination Earth from other initiatives. And it's truly a remarkable work that is ongoing. It's not easy, it is challenging, but I think it will pay off, because this is the end goal, if you like. It's not only about doing the simulations, it's about simulations coupled with the impact from the socioeconomic point of view. So data that could be used for that purpose. And there's a variety of impact sectors that can benefit from this part. Just to conclude on this one. Then regarding the question on how Destination Earth could support, inspire new policies at the national level and help local administrations to be policy compliant. Yes, I mean, it goes back again to how Destination Earth could be used by policymakers, by non-experts. So we are already working, as we said, with our member states at all levels in order to co-design with them dedicated tools and applications and services addressing their needs. On the local part, I could even say that beyond the discussion on how we onboard signatories and cities and regions already part of the European Mission on the Climate Change Adaptation, we are also working with a number of cities, again, to understand better their needs and tailor Destination Earth solutions based on their needs. So the policymakers, they can use Destination Earth in order to test models, in order to benchmark their approaches, to see which option, which scenario could be the best regarding the future policy making that they would like to put forward. All of these are tools that they can use. And again, some of the stuff needs to be further developed. So this is where we invite the stakeholders to come and talk to us so that we develop it together with them. So a lot of potential there also.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, the first question is kind of related because you said we're developing with them, but the question is, they're already worked on leveraging socioeconomic indicators to help addressing in urban settings, but how can they feed into DestinE in practice? So there's a lot going on outside of DestinE. We are all aware that a lot of digital twin and many things going on. How can we make sure that they also be part of DestinE? Any idea? Babis.
No, I will take it
You
again.
have to.
Yeah. I volunteered. It's again about how we coordinate all of these activities. First of all, we are open. As I said, our antennas are wide open to listen to you. Come to us. Tell us what you have in mind. What is the project or the idea that you've been working on. But then you will see that a number of major activities will come into play. Like, as I said, again, the osmosis at the local level with the EU Mission on Climate Change Adaptation. This is huge. The part with the local digital twins. All of these are activities that we are now bringing into this, as I said, overall ecosystem so that we can align with all of them and we can bring them on board. And they are part of the discussion would be also on how we can leverage the socioeconomic indicators. That again remains a challenge, but as I said, it's the cherry on the cake, and we are working on it also. So, yep.
I would like to compliment from the platform side. So there's a lot of research and so on. There are a lot of prototypes that sometimes finish in a drawer and not going elsewhere. And the platform is a place that allows to operationalize these kind of activities and to have an operational service that then can also scale up to a user community beyond the original user community that was targeted. So I really invite everyone to have a look at what the platform is offering.
Thank you very much. Is there another question in the room which is urgently? Okay, then we take the last question in the room and then we go ahead with the last question.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel. I'm based in Station F in Paris. where we have about 1,000 startups. So first I wanted to testify that I've been working in the insurance business for a few years, and clearly there is a clear business case for insurance companies to predict the cost, the future cost of climate change and finance prevention, and also share the risks together. So definitely a big use case there. Also for the risk managers of large corporations, they need to include climate change into their long-term plans. So definitely the digital twin will be a great asset for insurance companies and risk managers. And I had completely different question about the AI factory, as we are all here concerned about consumption of energy. Would you plan to look at optimizing in this factory the use of small language models instead of huge, large language models that can go up to 1,000 billion parameters and which consume a lot of energy? And I see that people use machine learning and AI without always taking into account that there are small models that they can really be efficient for some use cases. Is that part of the strategy as part of this AI factory to also think about energy consumption and frugality?
I guess this is for me.
I guess so, yes.
So many thanks for the double question or remark and question, because I will come also to your remark because it's quite important, the first one. So regarding the factories, yes, although the main purpose is to have a huge computing power to address the needs for when it comes to very big LLM models and what they need, of course, this doesn't exclude the work on smaller scale, let's say, models, because there will be also complementary infrastructures there, like a native cloud-based infrastructures that can handle smaller scale, let's say, data modeling attempts or initiatives, because it depends also on the user. So what the AI startups and SMEs would like to develop. We will, for example, make available data from Destination Earth to the factories. They can develop whatever they think is useful. It could be huge, it could be small, it depends on the business case. So, and of course, in the overall planning for the factories, we will consider the factor of energy efficiency as much as possible. But I would like also to come back to your first remark on the disaster risk management, because that is a topic that we didn't really address during the discussion. And their Destination Earth is also progressing a lot on how we can use Destination Earth in the context of what we call now the preparedness union. So Destination Earth for increasing the resilience and preparedness of our society, how this could be used. And the colleagues already referred to examples like how you can replay a past extreme event into the future so that you get insights on how you prepare your city, for example. There are many ways of using Destination Earth in doing so, because resilience, for example, in the urban context, accounts for either how a city could react in an acute shock, like a flood or an earthquake, or how the city will take measures to address chronic issues like an aging infrastructure or the aging population that Anna mentioned in the morning. So all of these are aspects that are in the radar of Destination Earth, and there you will see more and more coming out.
Thank you very much. So the last question to all of you, very quick before we have lunch. Irina, you started already. What's your vision for end of phase 3? Do you want to add something?
Well, as I said, I would like to see end-to-end uptake of in particular for us, the digital twin capabilities in existing workflows by key users. And I would like to see a true co-design of this what-if scenario so that we can together decide what do we want to use these digital twins for.
Thank you. Katrin?
And for me, it would be that by end of phase 3, we start to see applications that have a real impact in the real world and not only, let's say, uptake by the scientific community. Which is
Thank you very much. Michael?
Adoption and usage of DestinE in national value chains.
Very good. Babis,
It's
you're
the
the last one.
It's a combination of all three. So for me, to put it very simple, success would be happy users really working on tools and applications of Destination Earth that have an impact on what they do. And we can measure, perhaps even in the end of phase 3, the actual benefit. So what we managed to achieve with Destination Earth. So that would be for me. It includes all 3 aspects of the
Of course you have to say that.
Yeah.
But happy users is a great, it's a great sum up. Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending the session. Big applause to our panelists. Thank you. We have hot food in the back of the room. Please feel free to eat. Catch up any questions. You can come back to each of us to ask even more questions. We will reconvene at 2 o'clock, and then we dive deeper into the weather extreme digital twins with more detail on this. So have a nice break.